Have you ever wondered what it's like to form an unbreakable bond with an animal? This is the story of Samuel Whitaker, a man whose life was forever changed by a black foal named Midnight. Samuel Whitaker was 59 years old, a man whose life had been shaped by battles fought long ago and losses that never left him. Once a cavalryman, he now lived alone on a small ranch in the rugged valleys of Montana, far from the noise of cities and the reminders of war. His days were quiet, measured by the rhythm of seasons and the slow rise and fall of the sun across the hills. Yet Samuel was never truly alone, for by his side lived a black foal named Midnight, whose glossy coat gleamed like polished coal in the morning light. Midnight was no ordinary companion. The foal had come into Samuel's life 2 winters earlier, abandoned in a snowstorm when its mother died of illness. Samuel had found it trembling by the riverbank, a fragile shape against the bitter wind, and carried it back to his barn. From that night onward, Samuel and Midnight became inseparable. The foal grew strong under Samuel's care, but it was more than strength that bound them. Midnight possessed a rare intuition. When Samuel sat by the fire with his pipe staring into flames, as memories of war clawed at his mind, the foal would nudge his shoulder, lay its head on his lap, or simply stand near until Samuel's breathing steadied. Samuel talked to Midnight as he once had spoken to fellow soldiers, confided his regrets, his fears, his memories of men who never returned. And though the foal never spoke, its dark eyes seemed to understand. For Samuel, whose scars ran deeper than flesh, Midnight was a lifeline. In those long Montana winters, when the snow pressed heavy on the world and silence felt suffocating, Midnight's presence kept despair at bay. One spring, the valley thawed too quickly. Ice melted into torrents, and the gentle creek running through Samuel's land became a raging river overnight. The rain fell for days without pause, filling gullies, sweeping branches, and carrying away fences. Samuel kept watch from his porch, uneasy but calm, until disaster struck. He heard the frantic whinny from across the pasture. Rushing out, Samuel's heart froze. Midnight was caught in the flood. The foal had ventured too close to the swollen banks and slipped, now thrashing as the river dragged it downstream. Without hesitation, Samuel plunged into the icy torrent. The water bit into his bones like knives, but he fought his way toward the struggling foal. "Hold on, boy," shouted, though the roar of the river swallowed his words. Midnight's eyes rolled with fear, hooves lashing at the current. Samuel grabbed the halter around the foal's neck, nearly pulled under by the force. He braced his legs against a half-submerged log and hauled with all his strength. The current battered him, filling his lungs with cold water. But Samuel did not release his grip. Inch by inch, he dragged Midnight toward the bank, his muscles screaming with effort. At last, with one final heave, the foal collapsed onto the muddy shore. Samuel collapsed beside him, gasping for breath, both man and horse shivering violently. Midnight pressed his wet muzzle against Samuel's chest, trembling. Samuel stroked its neck, whispering hoarsely, "You're safe now, lad. You're safe." The ordeal left them shaken but alive, and from that day forward, the bond between man and foal deepened. They were no longer merely companions, they were survivors together. Weeks later, as spring flowers began to bloom, Samuel received a letter. The envelope was marked with the handwriting of his sister Eleanor, whom he had not seen in decades. With trembling hands, he read the words, "Samuel, father is gravely ill, is not long. If you wish to see him, you must come home to Ohio." The letter struck Samuel like a hammer. He had left Ohio in anger after the war, never forgiving his father for bitter words exchanged. Now time had stolen the chance for reconciliation, lest he returned. As he pondered, the postman, a friendly fellow named Charles Dempsey, brought additional news. "The railway company wants your land, Sam," he said, removing his cap. "They're extending the line, and your ranch sits right in their path. They'll pay good money." Samuel felt torn. Should he sell the land he had built his life upon, leave Midnight behind, and return to Ohio to face the ghosts of his family? Or should he remain in Montana, guarding both his ranch and the foal that had become his only true kin? After many sleepless nights, Samuel chose duty. He entrusted Midnight to his neighbor, Henry Caldwell, a kindly rancher with broad shoulders and a gentle heart. "Take care of him," Samuel said. placing the reins in Henry's hands. Midnight nickered, nudging Samuel's chest as if sensing abandonment. "I'll be back, boy," Samuel whispered, though doubt shadowed his voice. Samuel boarded the train east, heart heavy. The whistle shrieked, smoke billowed, and miles stretched between him and the valley. Yet as the train rattled across the plains, a telegram found its way into his hands. The words burned his eyes. "Midnight badly injured. Tried to follow your trail. Caught in railway machinery. Come at once, Henry." Grief struck Samuel like a bullet. He disembarked at the nearest junction, abandoning his journey to Ohio, and caught the next train back west. In doing so, he lost the chance to see his father before death. When Samuel finally reached Henry's ranch, dusk painted the sky in sorrowful colors. Midnight lay in the straw of the stable, sides heaving, legs mangled. The foal lifted its head weakly as Samuel knelt beside it. "Midnight," Samuel whispered, tears streaking his weathered face. The foal nudged a small pile of oats toward Samuel's hand, as if offering a final gift. Despite the agony in its body, it still sought to share. Samuel broke, cradling Midnight's head in his lap. "Forgive me, boy. Forgive me for leaving."
Ow.
The foal closed its eyes, breathing shallowly. In its last moments, Midnight pressed closer, a gesture of love stronger than words. Then, with one final exhale, the light faded from its eyes. Samuel remained in the stable long after silence fell, rocking gently, whispering the names of lost comrades, and now of Midnight. At dawn, Samuel and Henry carried Midnight's body to a hill overlooking the valley. Together, they dug a grave beneath an old pine where the foal had often stood, watching the horizon. As Samuel laid his friend to rest, he whispered, "This land is yours now, always." 3 months later, Samuel finally traveled to Ohio. His father was gone, buried on the family farm. Samuel reconciled with Eleanor, but he knew his soul no longer belonged in Ohio. His heart remained in Montana, in the quiet valley where Midnight slept beneath the pine. When he returned, Samuel chose not to fight the railway. Instead, he sold the ranch under one condition: that Midnight's grave never be disturbed. The land passed into the hands of a German immigrant family who promised to honor his request. Years later, children of that family would play near the hill, sometimes swearing they heard the soft whinny of a foal in the wind. Samuel, now an old man, often visited, sitting by the grave and remembering the black foal who had taught him that love, loyalty, and sacrifice could outshine even the darkest memories of war.